No, there were two other files that were actually needed for this application. Well, not actually files, but actually columns for the database. So what I did was I just went ahead and just add those in. So that would be a title for the case. So whatever case that person is posting would come up with, and yeah, that is what would be added there. And we'll also have a description for the cases, like a brief overview of maybe what happened, how it happened, and all stuff like that. I don't know, but stuff like that will be there. So that is pretty much the database. So I also have the application here running in the next window. I don't know what error is. Let's just reload this. Let's go to, all right, so this is basically just the root directory because I have pretty much nothing in there except for this COVID-19 text, and this is the overview of the application, and that is something that I'm going to go into in the next video. Let's go over to the IDE here. So what I'm going to do in this video is basically just create a structure of our application. So the folders and the files, well, at least the most essential files. So as we progress in the series, then we'll add the other files that are needed. So let's go ahead and create our first folder, which will be our classes folder. And this classes folder is going to have the database, and it's also going to have the route folder as well. So this is the route. The database is basically where we're going to do the connection of the database there, and the route is where we're going to use to get the routes and stuff like that. There's going to be a function in there to show the views or something like that, something to do with the routes. And we're going to also have a components folder. So the components folder here is going to be, should not be in a class, should be here in the root folder, whatever. So we're going to have a components folder, and this is going to have the footer and the header because we're going to have a static footer and header where it will load and pretty much all the pages that are there. And we're going to use a model view structure, controller structure. So we're going to create a models folder, and we're also going to create a views folder. That's it. And finally, we're going to create our controllers folder. So after we would have created these, then they're just a few more files, not too much. We're going to create the index.html. Obviously, we're going to need that. Not HTML, PHP, because we're working with PHP. Let's put that in all common letters. And we're going to just create our index.php. And I think I'm just going to create, well, no, because actually what we're going to have in here is basically just PHP. And because we're only going to have PHP, we're going to get rid of the closing tags so that we don't really have any issues in regards to the routing. I may just echo, I'm just going to echo I can echo, I'm going to echo a text saying this is the home page or whatever. This is going to be like every page, but every page is going to be loaded on the home page actually. So that's convenient for us. That's why we're going to have that's the good thing about the model view structure. We're going to use the view to show all the page. So let's just save this, and this text should echo on the screen. So let's go over to the browser, and if we should refresh this page here, then what we'll see, because it's an index page and the browser is looking for, wait, I'm not, refresh, because it's an index page and the browser is looking for this page, then that is what will come up if we type in index here. All right, I think we should get an error. Oops, that did not find our phone. So we're just going to put the .php and then it will go to the same place, but I don't like the extension thing, so I know we'll just get rid of the extension there. So let's get back over to the IDE here and let's continue with the rest of the files. We're also going to need that's the correct word to be used exactly. So we're going to need a .hg access, and this is a file that is going to be in charge of basically pushing everything to, or finding out what the URL is and pushing everything to the index.php file. And because the code is a very, I don't know, the .he access file codes is not really something that you really need to know that much unless you're getting into that deeply or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy a little bit of script here. It's just 2 lines, but I still don't feel like writing it out. So I'm just going to copy it and I'm going to paste it here. And that's pretty much it. We're just turning on the engine, the rewrite. So this is the syntax of this thing that you just do: rewrite engine on, and then we write some rules to this. This is a page that, like, if you are using, like, you're moving from HTTP to HTTPS, so this is like the page that you'll use to the file that you use to change stuff like that. Like, this is an amazing page, but you don't really need to know how everything works with this. You just, if you need something, you probably just can just browse it and go to Stack Overflow or something and just get the information. Let's go ahead and create, I think we need just our final page, and this is not this is needed, so we're going to create the routes page. So this is where we're going to register all our routes. So when we create the view function, this is where we're going to use under the routes class. So we're going to have a routes class and a view function or whatever, and then we're going to use that to display our routes. So it's going to be a static class. So we're just going to do something like that and put get or whatever the view, and then we're going to pass a function to it to actually display the view. And finally, we're going to add ourselves a readme .md, and this is not really that necessary, but this is just to display information to whoever is going to see, like another developer or someone who is going to be using your project or whatever, and so you can give them an overview of what you're actually doing in your application. And that's pretty much stuff like that. So we're just going to paste the code that I have here. I really don't want to write. And markup language, I didn't copy it. Markup language is something pretty much like, this is markdown, but it's just basically markup language. Like, that's weird, but that's pretty much it. But it's like HTML. It's pretty much HTML, but it's more easier to use and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you could build out a website with this thing and it won't really take that much. So here we go. We have the title, this application, the CRUD. So this is create, read, update, COVID-19 cases. Tells you that it is a object oriented and PDO, so it uses PDO. That's PHP data objects, and it uses an MVC structure, Again, I think I touched on this in the previous video with PHP and MySQL and stuff like that, JavaScript, UIkit Framework for the user interface and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it for this video, and in the next video coming up, then that's where we're going to actually start some serious coding, and you'll see how we actually use the HT access and the routes and how everything is integrated in this thing. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.